Hello, I'm Dr. Sophia Graham and I'm a lecturer in Celtic Studies in the School of Humanities here at Glasgow, and I would like to tell you about our two Celtic programmes. Now, first of all, you might be wondering what Celtic actually means and what studying the Celts involves. So, Celtic is a linguistic family whose languages stretched across Europe thousands of years ago, and some of these languages developed into modern languages that are still spoken today, like Irish and Scottish Gaelic and Welsh. In Celtic Studies, we look at the various societies who have spoken Celtic languages. We examine their beliefs and customs, their changing social and political structures, and their arts and literature. The study of Celtic is multidisciplinary and cross-cultural, so it's an exciting combination of history, politics, art, archaeology, and material culture, as well as cultural and linguistic studies. Here at Glasgow, we offer two Celtic degree programmes. We have our Celtic Civilisation degree, which is a non-language based programme in which you learn about Celtic societies and their culture through the ages, but you don't actually learn a Celtic language. Whereas our Celtic Studies degree gives you the opportunity to add language learning to the mix. The choice between the two degrees is entirely yours, and you only decide which works best for you when you enter your third year. And remember that the name of your degree isn't actually set in stone in your first 2 years. Before I go into detail of these programmes, though, here are a few reasons why we think Glasgow is a great place to study Celtic. Well, first of all, we're a small and friendly team of lecturer researchers, which makes it very easy for us to get to know our students. And it also makes it easy for students to let us know how they're finding our courses. Staff here in Celtic and Gaelic are passionate about their subjects and have very varied research interests. Because of this, we have strong links with colleagues in history, archaeology, history of art, linguistics, and modern languages. And these collaborations help us give our students a rich and varied learning experience, particularly in our honours modules. That's when you're in your third and fourth year. On the social side, there are currently 3 student societies with Celtic links. We have one Scottish, one Irish, and one Welsh. And on the sports side, we have a shinty club and a Gaelic football club. Another reason for studying Celtic here at Glasgow, well, the city itself. Not just because it's the UK's friendliest city or that it's the top cultural and creative city, or because students themselves consider it to be among the world's top 5 student cities. You may also have heard of Celtic Connections, Glasgow's huge annual winter music festival. Well, it's not just a name. Glasgow has the strongest Celtic connections of any city in Scotland, or indeed the UK, with deep Celtic roots going back more than 1200 years. In the 9th century, Govan, which is now in the heart of Glasgow, was the centre of the powerful kingdom of Strathclyde, where an ancestor language of Welsh, usually called Brittonic, was spoken. And it's that language that gave the later town of Glasgow its name, a name which means green hollow. Then about 1,000 years ago, Gaelic became the dominant language here, giving many areas of the city their name, like Garscadden, Gartnavel, Barlinnie and Yoker. And Gaelic continued to be spoken in the countryside around here long after Scots became the language of the actual borough. Then from the 1700s, especially, large numbers of Gaelic speakers from the nearby Highlands started moving to Glasgow in search of work or forced out by clearances. And to this day, Glasgow has the largest community of Gaelic speakers outside of the Western Isles, now boasting 4 Gaelic primary schools, a Gaelic secondary school near the university, and a thriving art scene. Finally, let's not forget the Irish connection. From the mid-1800s, thousands of Irish migrated to Glasgow, many of them speaking only Irish Gaelic. That community has had a huge influence on Glasgow's culture, including music, dancing schools, religious traditions, and of course, the famous football team. So what will you actually do if you study Celtic here in Glasgow? Well, in your first 2 years, you can explore chronologically nearly 3,000 years of Celtic culture through 4 Celtic Civilisation modules, 1 per semester. In Celtic Civ 1A, you'll explore the history and culture of the ancient Celts who occupied much of Western and Central Europe, from Britain and Ireland in the west to Turkey in the east. You'll study their mythology and religious beliefs, their customs, gender and sexuality, trading and migrations, and their absorption into the Roman Empire, sometimes their resistance to it. Some of this will involve a bit of detective work as you compare what Greek and Roman writers had to say about Celtic societies and what the evidence from the Celts themselves actually tells us. Then in the second semester in Celtic Civ 1B, Celtic peoples in the medieval world, we examine the society, art and literature of the early Christian Celts of Britain and Ireland from the fall of the Roman Empire in around 400 to the Norman conquest of England in 1066. That period includes the first Gaelic kingdom in Scotland, Dalriada, over in Argyll. And we also have the powerful kingdom of Strathclyde, based at Dumbarton Rock and then later at Govan, as well as the kingdom of the Pits, north of the Forth. Among many other kinds of evidence, you'll be examining the famous picture stones that you can see dotted around Scotland and the amazing gospel books beautifully produced in Celtic monasteries, like the famous Book of Kells. You'll also learn about Gaelic and Welsh sagas and hero tales. Now, moving on to the second year, our two modules focus on Gaelic Scotland, Ireland and Wales, their institutions, cultures and literatures, in a period when they were increasingly at odds with aggressive neighbouring kingdoms. In our Celtic Civ 2A module, From Rulers to Rebels, Celtic Societies 1066 to 1603, we'll take you through 5 centuries of Europeanisation from the Norman period to the union of the crowns of Scotland and England. Finally, in Celtic Civ 2B, Celtic Societies and the Modern World, 1750 to the present, we examine the struggle with varying degrees of success to keep Celtic languages and cultures alive and flourishing in an at times very hostile environment. In these 4 modules, lectures are twice a week with a weekly small group seminar, and student numbers in the first year are typically around 160 and around 40 in the second year. At the end of the second year, if you want to continue studying Celtic in your 3rd and 4th years, you can choose one of our 2 degree programmes, Celtic Studies or Celtic Civilisation. Celtic Civilisation can only be a joint degree, so you would only be doing Celtic modules, 3 Celtic modules in each of your honours year, and 3 in your other degree subject. Celtic Studies can be single or joint, and if you do single Celtic Studies, you'll be choosing 6 Celtic modules in each year. In your final year, you get to write a dissertation on a topic of your choice after discussion with tutors. And this is your chance to do some extended independent research into a subject that particularly interests you. This can be based entirely on reading, or it can involve social research through surveys and interview, or it can be of a practical nature based on a placement in a heritage organisation. Both honours programmes share a wide menu of history, literature and culture courses, some of which you can see on the screen, like Celtic place names of Scotland, folklore of Gaelic Scotland, literacy in medieval Celtic societies, and Celtic art in context, and many more. And the full menu also includes some archaeology and history courses like the Gaelic Kingdom of Alba and Highland clearances. If you choose to do the Celtic Studies degree rather than the Celtic Civilisation one, your choice will also include language modules. So you can learn to read medieval Gaelic or Welsh, or learn to speak, read and write modern Irish or Scottish Gaelic. But remember, if you prefer to avoid language learning, you should opt for the Celtic Civilisation degree. An exciting opportunity in your junior honours year, so that's in your 3rd year, is the chance to study abroad for 1 semester or 2. Destinations that offer Celtic Studies modules include Dublin, Nova Scotia and Toronto in Canada, Boston and North Carolina in the US, and Sydney in Australia. Now, there's one more thing to bear in mind. If you think that you might be interested in learning some Scottish Gaelic before reaching honours, or if you already know some Gaelic and you want to include that in your university curriculum, you can find our Studying Gaelic video on this channel, which gives you all of the available options. Now, finally, you might be wondering what happens after you graduate. what jobs can I get with my Celtic degree? Well, the subject content of your degree with us will make you a strong candidate for jobs in the culture, heritage and tourism sectors anywhere in the UK. But throughout your degree, we also aim to develop important graduate attributes and transferable skills like analytical and critical thinking, strong presentational and communication skills. These we know are all highly prized by employers in a wide variety of professions. Now, the most recent survey of our graduates found that all of them were either employed or had gone on to do further study, and a full 80% were now in professional jobs. It's also worth mentioning that a recent survey of British university leavers found that Celtic graduates were the happiest in the UK. So whether you join us for just one Celtic Civ module or for a whole degree, we'd be delighted to welcome you to our courses. So thank you for listening and don't hesitate to contact us if you have any further questions. Thank you.